All right, everyone, welcome to our second unit, Short Stories. We're going to kick this unit off by really diving into setting and how it plays a major role in stories. So, just to keep in mind, there are different elements of a story. There's characters, there's a protagonist and antagonist, there's the plot, there's the setting, which we'll talk about, conflict, and theme. Okay, we'll dive into all of these, but as I said, we're going to start with the setting. So, what is setting in a story? Well, we can look at the location. So, where does the story take place? What specific locations, buildings, neighborhoods are significant to the plot or the characters? We can also look at the time period. What year does the story take place? How does this affect the characters or plot in terms of cultural or societal expectations, availability or lack of technology, and other elements that can evolve over time? We can also look at the time of year. During which months and seasons does the story occur? Does this present any challenges or obstacles, weather, nature, etc., that are relevant to the story? We can also look at purpose. How does the purpose of any particular location influence what happens during the story? We can look at other notable elements. What societal issues are inherent in this setting? What historical events have happened? How do they influence the plot or the characters during the story? And most importantly, we can look at how the setting develops theme. More on that in a bit. So let's break some of these down. For instance, let's start with the setting. How about the movie The Lion King? The setting in The Lion King is Pride Rock. Here you have Simba and his father Mufasa just talking, looking over at the gorgeous, beautiful view of Pride Rock. Well, during a conversation when Mufasa's telling Simba, this is going to be yours one day when I pass. And he's like, really? All of it? All of this is mine? And he's like, yep, everywhere except where the light everywhere the light touches. And he's like, well, what about the shadowy place? He's like, do not go there ever. And the shadowy place is the elephant graveyard, which, as we all know, Simba does eventually go there. Naughty boy he is. But, we're talking about how we have to be responsible as leaders. We can't just, do it whatever we want. We have to take care of the land. Just don't go over to this really nasty, scary place because it'll only bring you harm. So this is the setting. The setting's Pride Rock, and there's also another place that they should not go, the elephant graveyard. Well, what about this? What if the setting in The Lion King completely changed? What if Mufasa and Simba were two lions living in a zoo? How would that change the story of The Lion King? If The Lion King moved to Mufasa and Simba being in a zoo, we wouldn't even have to worry about taking care of the land and all its inhabitants. So Mufasa, as a leader, wouldn't have to worry about the land. As well, Simba and Mufasa, they wouldn't have to worry about going to a dangerous, scary place. So all of these things, the conflict, the climax, all these major things that happen in the story would be completely irrelevant if Mufasa and Simba just were two lions in a zoo. Okay, so setting is very important to a story's plot, to the characters, to the theme, and so forth. Well, let's also look at the effects of a time period, societal issues, and purpose. Let's take the example of Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. We all know about Anne Frank. She wrote this diary when she was in hiding with her family, and it's a pretty pivotal book. So the time period she wrote this was in 1942. She was in hiding from 1942 to 1944 as she was, her and her family were Jewish during a very important societal issue, a very important time, World War II. So if you were Jewish in World War II, especially in Europe or Germany and surrounding countries. We all know that Hitler was out to on a genocide. He was trying to kill all the Jews. So, you know, this diary is important because as a society as a whole today we get to learn about someone who went through this awful experience, someone who's being persecuted and someone who's being hunted down, and we get to learn from this from the diary of Anne Frank. She wrote it during hiding, and a huge societal issue at the time was World War II. Well, even the purpose of this diary for Anne was a way to journal her family's time in hiding. So again, even today, we can read this book and we can learn about what it was like for a Jewish family in hiding. And there's a huge purpose to this diary because the time period and the issue at hand, World War II. But again, what if this journal was written in 2001 by a Jewish girl in Germany or in Poland? I think, where was she? She was in Amsterdam. Would any of it matter? Would we care about the diary of a girl in 2001? Not really, right? There's no persecution of the Jews. There's no genocide out happening, a mass killing of these people because of their lineage. There's no World War II in 2001. So if this was just a diary written a few years ago, why does it matter? It wouldn't matter, right? So again, this time period, societal issues, and purpose really play a massive role in a story. Without it, why do we even care? What's the importance of it? Finally, let's look at the time of year. How about the movie How the Grinch Stole Christmas, or the book by Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas? Well, the time of year is obviously Christmas or winter. But again, what happens if this story is changed to the summertime? There's no presents under the Christmas tree for the Grinch to steal in the summertime. So again, why do we care about this story? Why would we, learn about this man who's angry, and why would he matter if he's just angry with nothing to take, with nothing to ruin? Because we know that the Grinch wants to ruin Christmas for all the Who's in Whoville. He wants to steal Christmas. But if it's not Christmas and it's the summertime, then why is this story relevant? Okay, so time of year can be an important part to a story. Finally, something we are going to focus on our first short story all summer long is how does setting develop the theme? Well, let's just take a quick reminder of what theme is. Theme is what the story teaches readers, the life lesson, meaning, moral, or message about life or human nature that is communicated, that is showed through a literary work. Okay, so let's go back to The Lion King. One of the themes of The Lion King is responsibility. As I mentioned before, when Mufasa is having a conversation with Simba about how you have to be, as a leader, as a king, you can't just do whatever you want and it's not all fun and games. You have to be responsible. You have to take care of the land. You have to make sure all of your people and all of the people that live on the land are taken care of, or that they're fed, that they have a place to live, etc. So when Mufasa rules Pride Rock, he is responsible and takes care of the land and all the other animals. And we see the beautiful green landscape and all the other lions and animals really enjoying their time there. However, after the conflict really begins, when Scar kills Mufasa and takes over Pride Rock, what happens to Pride Rock? Well, Scar is really irresponsible and selfish, and so he doesn't take care of the people and the land. He lets the hyenas just come and run about and destroy it and eat all the food, and he doesn't care because he's only concerned about himself, and he's very irresponsible. And then as we go on, Simba has to make a choice. He has to make a choice to come back and fight Scar and take back Pride Rock, which we all know he ends up doing. And then again, we go back to this first picture when Simba gets back to ruling after he defeats Scar. He becomes a responsible leader, and Pride Rock goes back to being a beautiful scene, a beautiful landscape where animals and all of its peoples, its inhabitants can live. Okay, so again, setting you might think is something very minor, but it plays a massive role in stories. Um, and again, like I said, I want us to focus on how the setting develops the theme in the short story we will be reading all summer long. All right, guys, thanks for watching.